Okay, so I'm finished polishing. I just took a little soft brush, the very lowest spin I could get. Not even going to hurt my finger. And I put a little flitz on any area that I saw there was wear. You'll notice there was a couple of scratches on this trigger guard here that I didn't really like. So I went ahead and put some flitz on there and smoothed that down. Wherever I saw scratches, that means something, I don't know what, was rubbing or there was creating friction. So I want to do away with any of those parts where there's friction. So this has nothing to do, but when I ran my finger across these, it felt a little rough. So I took a little sandpaper, 1000 grit, emery, whatever it is, and polished that down. Then I went over it with that little polishing stone. So it looks like, I don't know if that's coming out in the camera, it looks like it's a little more shiny because it was a little bit of rough when I rubbed on it. And since this moves back and forth, anytime I can remove some of that roughness, it's going to make this trigger flow easier. This was pretty kind of marred up, so what I did there is I just polished that. And that's a ramp. This is the safety. I didn't like my safety as hard it was, but there was a little bit of spot right there that I thought was kind of rough. And then over here it was kind of smooth, and right around here this was very sharp. So what I did there is I just put that little flitz and ran my little thing around here and smoothed any rough edge that didn't feel smooth or finished. These are little things that they do on higher end guns, but it takes a lot of time. So on these, when they're just making other guns, they cut them out and they say good enough. But if I can rub my hand across something and it feels like there's a rough edge or metal, I don't like that. This is really, really smooth now. And that's what I want. I'm not taking a whole bunch off, I'm just taking rough edges. I think that's it. Oh yeah, and on the trigger, let's see if I can figure out how this, I think the trigger hooks up like this. So it comes in like this and hooks up. So when I pull the trigger, it releases it. So this is cocked, comes back, cocks, and then as I pull it, it releases it. So the parts that connect are the parts that I smoothed. So right underneath here and right underneath here, because that's where they connect. If you can see that with my background. And now I'm going to clean those, wipe them down, oil them, and put it back together. Alrighty, so I think we're in camera. Everything is oiled down. I just went ahead and put this back together. It's just the three pieces. Spring, this, both sides of this spring is what I call closed. So it doesn't matter which end it goes in. So that goes in there, and this goes in here. So that's just that together. So I'm going to start my main housing, get my this little thing in there. Remember how I had to turn it sideways to get it in? Try to keep this in camera. So that's in there like that, hooking in there. It's going to end up closing here. Remember, this is going to go right about there. So that's how it's going to line up in a minute. I'm going to slide this. Remember the little spring, how it went in? Kind of upside down. I told you it looks like it should go the other way. So there is a little pin right there that this goes around. So if you put that over that in that little housing. Oh, sorry. Do that again. I'm on camera. Put it right on that little thing right there. And then it should just sit down like so. And you should be able to see that sitting right in there. See how it fell over? That's gonna hold it in a second, but give me an opportunity to do it again. Get it in that little, this little housing area. And now it's sitting right where it's supposed to be. And now the safety going in should hold that in there. Remember that safety had a pin on it? I told you? So that's got to go back in there. So safety is going to come through like so. Oh, sorry. Safety is going to come through like so, because it fits right in here between the trigger guard. And now that little hole right there has got to punch through here. So as I find it, and we're working on it. Come on. So it shouldn't be that hard to get in there. Come on. There we go. So now that that is in there, that's holding in your spring. So I don't know if you can see how that's put together. I'm just trying to kind of roll it around so people can get a good look. You can freeze the screen if you need to get something. But this safety is part of this, and this traps the spring behind it, which is right here. Hopefully that's coming out. Okay? So we have this. Now I'm going to slide my hammer in. Remember, the hammer's got to go back like this. So, you know, this thing is kind of like, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. So this will fit in here, and a pin's going to go right through there, if I get it lined up correctly. So let's so that's there. This is there. And so my pin should go in now. And I've already forgotten. I think it pushes out this way, so it goes in this way. If it pushed out this way, it goes in this way. So let's get this lined up. And it seemed to go in as I let this fall a little bit. Then it went in. Okay? So that should be good to go right there. Safety's in. Hammer's in. Now the rough part. this spring, which, remember when I opened it, I said you don't want to see this open part. You want to see the holes. So these two little holes right here have to fit in right here, but it's got to be solid. If you put it this way, it's wrong. Okay? It's got to be this way. See that? Wrong, because I can see this. Right, because it goes like that. Okay? So we need to set this in this little ridge cavity back there. And when it's in the right spot, I'm going to hold it, try to get my trigger in there, I have to squeeze. Get this lined up. Wow. So man, so you see what I'm doing is I'm pushing this to get these holes right here lined up, and you're not going to be able to see it, and I'm not going to be able to keep it in camera, but that's what I'm trying to do. Man, that is a small... Getting those holes lined up for this little bitty pin is not going to be what I would call easy. But it can be done. That's good. Should be good to go. Sometimes these are just... Gotta try it 2 or 3 times, and then all of a sudden it goes right into place. Well, that didn't take too long to figure out. I didn't finish hammering in that pin, so that pin, this pin right here, that little bitty pin that I was putting in holding this trigger, it wasn't all the way in flush. And I didn't want to pound it in until I tried it. So I tried to pull the trigger before it was all the way in, and the trigger wouldn't pull. So I thought I had it in wrong, but I didn't. Once I just hammered it all the way in, because I've looked, I'm like, it's got to be right. So I finished hammering, just popped that in a little bit with a hammer, made it flush over here, and now it works fine. So let's see what the trigger feels like. Oh, that feels pretty nice. So let's give it a little pull here. Oh man, that's nice. A little bit of lag right there. Take out the slack, and then it drops. Nice. Very nice. Happy with that. So now all I got to do is slam it back in. Oh, I didn't check the safety. Make sure the safety works. It does. Safety works. So we will put this back in the gun. Try to go in as straight as you can on this. Locked up. Try this trigger. Nice. Reset. Oh, nicer reset. That smoothing cleaned it out. And drop. Oh man, that's pretty nice. Take out that little slack right there. So I know I'm ready to go. And then it drops. Nice. And I like the reset. It's quieter and slower. I don't know if you can see that or not. Am I out of camera? A little slack right there. Not much. Take out that slack, and then it goes. Breaks. And the reset, when I let this trigger go, nice. Very nice. Happy with it. I'll pull out the M1 Garand and I'll go over it. I don't need to go over that. This is the same trigger housing as an M1 Garand. So I'm going to pull out my M1 Garand. Alright, we'll end that there on a trigger job. M1A1. Figured I would just slide this in real quick. This is the M1 Garand trigger. And the spring kind of pokes out here on this. So it's got a longer spring But other than that, not a big deal. Safety works, everything's good to go. Trigger's nice and smooth. Very nice. So that's about the difference of the M1A and the M1 Garand. Alright, that helps. Pull in that dirt.